We're taking a look at the Unit 2 study guide, and it says that the completion is recommended but not required, and you are to utilize materials completed from class in addition to this study guide. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to review the questions and the materials on the study guide in this quick video, and then you'll be able to follow along at your own pace, pause, ask questions. If you're in class with me, you can pause the video and ask me a question about something. And this is going to be a really good tool for you, not only for your Unit 2 exam, but also for when it's time to study for the Keystone exam. You can review these videos and be better prepared. So the first question in the Unit 2 study guide starts off talking about the properties of water, the unique properties of water that enable it to support life on Earth. This is actually one of the short answer questions. It says to select 3 of the properties of water and identify the property, explain it in terms of its molecular structure, and for each property describe one example of how the property affects the functioning of living organisms. So we're going to start off by just explaining a little bit about water itself. What you need to know is that water is a polar molecule. And what that means is that it has a positive and a negative side. It has a slightly negative oxygen connected to 2 slightly positive hydrogens. These are connected by a covalent bond, and then they connect to other water molecules through their hydrogen bonds. And it's the attraction of these hydrogen molecules to each other that gives water its strength. The word polar means that it has a positive side and a negative side, kind of like a battery or a magnet. And just to review, non-polar are things like fats, oils, and waxes. They're not soluble in water. In other words, they don't dissolve in water. So that's a little bit about water's unique structure that enables it to support life on Earth. Some of the properties that we're going to talk about are adhesion and cohesion. Cohesion is water's affinity to stick to itself. Adhesion is water's affinity to stick to other things. So adhesion and cohesion are going to lead to things like surface tension and capillary action. Surface tension is what gives water at the top of water that surface tension, and it enables insects to walk along the surface of the water. And capillary action is what you see when you see water kind of like pulling itself up in a straw a little bit above the surface of the water, or when you see capillary action in use is when the water from roots will be absorbed into a plant or a tree and expelled through transpiration. That's capillary action being used to pull the water up to the higher levels of the plant. Another unique property of water that enables it to support life on Earth is its high heat capacity, also known as its high specific heat. So what this means is that it takes a lot of heat energy to raise the temperature of water by 1 degree Celsius. You would need a lot of energy to raise the temperature of water. This does 2 things. It makes water a really good insulator for living organisms, including us. Our body is 72% water, so it's a really good insulator for all living things. And it also controls the climate of our planet. If you think about how much of our planet is covered in water, you know that the oceans absorb a lot of the sun's energy. So what this means, though, is that even minor changes to ocean temperature can have dramatic impacts on our climate and weather. And we're seeing this more and more with hurricanes and other dramatic weather events. The third unique property of water that enables it to support life on Earth is the fact that water is called the universal solvent. So just to review some vocabulary, a solution is made when you take a solvent and a solute and you mixed it together. The solvent is what's present in a greater amount. The solute is what's being mixed into the solvent. So an example would be Kool-Aid. Water is able to dissolve lots of other polar substances because of its ability to form hydrogen bonds. So put very simply, water can dissolve lots of stuff. This one example of this is when we soak dishes in water overnight to get all the hard parts off of them. That's an example of how water is a universal solvent. It's able to dissolve lots of other polar molecules. And then the fourth unique property of water that enables it to support life on Earth is its density. Water is less dense as a solid. Solid water is called ice. Because it's less dense as a solid, frozen water is going to float to the surface, and it's going to provide sort of an insulative barrier for the organisms below. So you can see this ice layer, this frozen layer, is 0 degrees Celsius. Below the frozen layer, you have it greater than 0 degrees Celsius, and that enables the organisms below to stay alive. They don't freeze solid. Just to review some temperatures, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 0 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of water is 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius, and our body temperature is normally right around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. I'm going to stop this video now, and the next one I'll make for the other questions on the study guide.